John, it looked like your practice today was heavy 5-on-5. Are you going back to sort of the DNA level basic system work, or are you changing some things?
No, we're not changing things. We're just trying to get better at what we should be doing.
Yeah. It's the same stuff you've been preaching from the start. Are guys that have been good at this before having struggles with it? I guess that's the challenge of this game, right?
Yeah, it's the concentration of doing it the proper way. And we have been very inconsistent.
When you're a coach, do you try to find new ways to say the same thing sometimes in the hopes that it sinks in if it's approached differently? Or what's the challenge behind it?
Yeah, I think coaches are always trying to get their team as best ready as they can. And sometimes the monotony of doing it the same way and changing up with certain things helps. So yeah, we're always, we want to get our team ready to play, and you just try to do the best you can that way. And there's certain times you have to change things up.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Bill Rabinowitz. Go ahead, Billy.
Hi, John. Your defense has been pretty solid over the years. The struggles that you've had this year, how surprising has that been to you? And can you kind of put your finger on what it's been, or has it just been a bunch of things?
Yeah, it's not just been one, it's been our whole defensive core. And well, and let me circle back with that. It's not just our defensemen. I think it goes to our forwards also. We just don't play as a cohesive unit enough minutes in hockey games. There's going to be times you're going to be disconnected. We're just not connected enough. And I think at the defensive position, it shows up more as far as what happens to them if we're not connected.
And in particular, the 6th D guy, you've rotated a bunch of guys. How frustrating has it been to not be able to settle on a guy?
The 6th guy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not my worry. My worry is the top 4. You worry about everybody, but my worry is the top 4. I don't think it's been inconsistent with our top 4, which is a very important part of any hockey club.
Next, we'll go to Whitney Harding. Go ahead, Whitney.
Hey, John, we talked to Nick about this last week. Of course, everybody's excited about fans coming back in the building next week. What kind of a boost do you think that might give these guys? You've talked about it feeling weird this year. What kind of a boost could that give?
Yeah, I think you don't realize how much you do miss that. The fans being there. For players, they're entertainers. They want to play in front of people, and for just for the energy of the building. For me personally, if you're asking me, I'm really surprised how much has been taken out as far as the atmosphere without any fans. I knew it was going to be different. But we were fortunate enough to play in a bubble. The bubble was a little bit different story. It was more concentrated. It was playoffs. It was just different. But you start playing a regular season, no matter if it's shortened or not, it grinds you. And we certainly miss them, and we're really excited about getting some people in here. And more importantly, it shows that it seems like the pandemic, we're heading down the right road. For the world as far as this pandemic.
You've talked about concentration as well. For these guys preparing to play in front of other people, maybe help with that a little bit? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it keeps them on their toes. I really do. I just think it just gives them more adrenaline. It just makes them more alert, I believe. And it's interesting. After the national anthem, that's when it really hits me is you hear the anthem. And I guess because we just came back from Chicago, which you just love being there during the anthem. And then it's just thud. And then you drop the puck and you play. It's been different. So we're really excited about having the opportunity to play in front of them.
And my last one, obviously Elvis with that upper body injury. That means Corpy is going to be getting even more time in net. How do you try to keep him fresh, but also, keep him focused while all that's going on around him with the injury of Elvis and stuff?
Yeah, we're hoping Elvis isn't too long. And I look at the schedule. I think, Corpy wants to play. He's waited a long time. He wants to play as many games as he possibly can. I think the practice time, morning skates, or whatever it may be, will, depending how long Elvis is out, we'll act accordingly. I think Manny's going to be a great barometer for me as far as how much workload and practice for him, if this is an extended period of time of him playing. But we have confidence in Kivy too. We put Kivy in there, and that's one big thing. When we had all the injuries and Kivy played, we could see he can play. So we'll just see. We'll go game to game as far as where we're at with our goaltending.
Next, we'll go to Jeff Svoboda. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thanks, Todd. Torts, you've been a guy that's talked at times about not wanting to overburden players with information. Is that something you have to worry about right now as you're trying to get back to basics here, is making sure they're free enough to play while also talking about the things they have to get better at?
Yeah, there's, and I'm not going to explain them to you in this forum, but there were a couple of things that we wanted to focus on as we had our first meeting this morning. We touched upon those. You got to be really careful when you play a game like we played the other night, not to knee jerk and fill their heads with stuff. There's a couple of things that, for us to get back to some sort of step to get to a foundation, you got to be careful how much you give them. So just a couple of things went to them today.
Thanks.
Next, we'll go to Mark Scheig. Go ahead, Mark.
Thanks, Todd. John, looking back at the two Nashville games, I think your team had a combined 1 power play chance in the 2 games. I know we've talked in the past about trying to generate more power play chances. Is there anything sticking out as to maybe why you're not getting as many chances as you'd like?
No. Everybody will say they're not moving their legs, they're not playing hard enough. I have no idea. I got other things to worry about than the number of power plays we get. I'm more worried about just how we play, period, and put a whole blanket over that. So I really don't have a reason why.
And do you expect Michael Del Zotto to be available for you tomorrow?
I have no idea.
Next, we'll go back to Aaron Portzline. Go ahead, Porty.
Thanks, Todd. John, I was interested in practice today. At one point, Roslovic came up to you after a drill and asked for clarity on something. You brought Seth Jones in. You like when players do that, but did you see more of it today? And is that in any way a good sign?
Yeah, we're working on coverages. We're working on breakouts. Jack is one of those young. We got 3 of them, 3 young centers we're trying to develop. I can't, I don't want to get into the whole conversation, but that's just about what the D sees there versus what the low forward sees there. What do they want to do? And Jack's very coachable. He has a lot to learn as far as the checking. I'm not going to turn Jack into a checker, but he's going to meet us halfway as far as how to play away from the puck too. We're not interested in him just check. We want him to get the puck and get going and be that offensive guy, but he has to understand our system and has to have the willingness to meet us halfway. So I think it's I'm looking forward to it because I think he wants to learn.
Yeah, that line had gone pretty darn good for a few games there. It was kind of hard to find in the last game. Do you have a sense of what happened? Yeah, do you have a sense where they went?
Yeah, I do. But I'll just leave it as they sucked.
Yeah. Del Zotto, I thought, had an interesting point about how the play in your own zone has been so ragged because you're always in your own zone, which is kind of an interesting way to look at it. He mentioned the forecheck being a problem that almost exacerbates it's kind of a chicken and an egg thing, I know, but
yeah.
Is the forecheck dead because you can't get out of your own zone, or are you in your own
zone? You spend so much time in your end zone, you're jumping over the boards to change up because you're too tired to go forecheck. And you're in your shift length 40, 45 seconds. So you got to get off the ice. It just tilts the game. It takes away any flow as far as forechecking. So yeah, our sloppiness and positioning as far as trying to come out of our end zone definitely puts us in a tough jam as far as what we feel, or at least we want to be our strength, and that's playing in the offensive zone with some forechecking.
Thank you.
And last one, we'll go back to Bill Rabinowitz. Go ahead, Billy.
John, this is a little bit similar to the first question I asked. The penalty kill, you guys have more shorthanded goals, I think, than anyone in the league, but struggling in terms of being able to prevent goals. Again, can you pinpoint what the issues have been with the penalty kill?
Yeah, I think there's numerous ones. It comes down to winning more battles. It comes down to when you do have the puck, making sure it gets out. There's been a lot of second opportunities. We have a chance to get it out. It doesn't get out. It comes down to when we're struggling as we have been here for quite a while. Remember, early in the year, we were playing really well. Our penalty kill was really good. I think for me, and maybe Shazi can answer it better because he's running it. For me, though, penalty killing, when you see everybody working in sync, when they're aggressive in sync or when they're holding back, being all together and just moving together, that's when you have a good penalty kill. And we have not been that. We've been inconsistent. But I think there's a couple other things, as I stated. We've had opportunities to get pucks out, and we haven't. And with a big part of our 5-on-5 game, I think a lot of plays go through us. We don't block passes, they go through us. Very similar to what's happened to us 5-on-5.
And how much of that is also just face-offs? Because I think you guys have struggled, it seems that way,
Yep.
at least winning face-offs.
Yeah, but we've won some face-offs and we don't get it out. And there's always a set play or everybody understands what they need to do in that face-off. And you know, it's not as easy as you win a face-off. It should be out of the end zone. I get that because they're forechecking too. But we have had opportunities on our first touch to put it into an area we can get it out, and we just have not done it. We've been inconsistent there. We've been sloppy, and it's affected us. It's affected our whole team with some of the sloppiness that's gone on.
All right, thank you.